Okay, let's talk about max width. We have been working with width quite a bit. Let's go ahead and use max width. Now, max width is not necessarily going to be used on every single element, but it is going to be used on, let's say, an inline element. So let's say we have some sort of element with an ID called inline, and it's going to have not a width, a display inline block. Let's go ahead and create this element. Inline, hit tab, and some text here. And let's also give that a border so we can see this. Border, 1 pixel, solid red. And so we see this text here. Now we can say, because it's an inline block element, that it should only ever reach a maximum width before the text breaks onto a new line or overflows. So when we say give something a width of, let's say, 500 pixels, it's going to give us a width of 500 pixels. But let's say we wanted it to be flexible. So it can start off this small and it can get up until this size. We would use a max width. So let's go ahead and add a max dash width. And we're going to see that the width actually changes back down to the minimum size. And in our tool here, our developer tools, we can right click inspect. And let's add a bunch of text. So I'm just going to copy all this stuff in here and we're going to see something very interesting. This doesn't take up the entire width. This takes up 500 pixels, 502 pixels actually, because there's a border on the left and a border on the right. They're both 1 pixel, so 502 pixels in total. And what we can do is, because we've selected this element, we can say that max width, let's click on that and let's go, see, we're making it bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually the text is going to start getting a little bit shorter and wider on the page. That's what max width is. So a width is a hard set value. So we're saying the width has to be like 500 pixels, but a max width can be anything between 0 and 500 pixels or whatever you set that value to be. It doesn't have to be 500. It could be any value. Now you're likely not going to use this too much in your project, but it is good to know about. So there's nothing to do in this particular lesson. In the next lesson, let's go ahead and get started with opacity. Opacity? Opacity.